Stellt euch vor, ein Stoffmuster, das aussieht, als wäre es vor 200 Jahren von Hand gewebt worden, mit den weichen, erdigen Farben natürlicher Pigmente und floralen Ornamenten, die Geschichten erzählen. Und dann erfahrt ihr, es kommt nicht aus einem Museum, sondern aus dem Studio einer einzigen Designerin, deren Muster heute auf allen möglichen Produkten wie Bettwäsche, Tapeten, Schuhen und Marken rund um den Globus zu finden sind. Wir sind Theresa, also known as Teres Adventure, und Daniela, also known as Senora Button, die Gründerin von Pattern Rising, dem ersten deutschsprachigen Podcast für Surface Designer. Im Podcast sprechen wir über alles, was Pattern Design Herzen höher schlagen lässt. Und heute starten wir mit etwas Neuem. Die erste Folge unserer Interviewreihe. Hier sprechen wir mit Surface Pattern Designern aus der ganzen Welt, bereits bekannten Namen genauso wie mit Newcomern, die noch eine kleinere Reichweite haben, aber spannende eigene Spezialisierungen mitbringen. Unser Ziel ist es, euch eine möglichst große Bandbreite an Perspektiven, Stilen und Wegen im Pattern Design zu zeigen. Die Gespräche führen wir überwiegend auf Englisch, weil wir sehr viele englischsprachige Interviewpartner haben. Und wir fühlen uns wirklich sehr geehrt, dass wir direkt zum Auftakt dieser Reihe Bärbel Dressler gewinnen konnten. Eine schwedische, international anerkannte Surface Designerin mit deutschen Wurzeln und die Gründerin von Bärbel Productions. Bärbel hilft Unternehmen dabei, Muster und Prints zu finden, die wirklich zu ihrer Marke passen, inspiriert von historischen Drucktechniken, handgezeichneten Ornamenten und einem ganz eigenen Gespür für Farbe. Zusätzlich lehrt sie Pattern Designer in ihrem Kursrepertoire alle möglichen historischen Musterstile mit der Geschichte der einzelnen Muster und lehrt sie, diese historischen Stile in ihrem ganz eigenen Stil umzusetzen. Bärbel erzählt uns im Interview, wie sie ihren eigenen Stil gefunden hat, warum historische Muster auch heute noch so relevant sind und warum man als Musterdesignerin gleichzeitig vor allem Unternehmerin sein muss. Mit allem, was dazugehört, von Marketing über Buchhaltung bis zur Projektplanung. Und warum es eine gute Idee ist, sich frühzeitig Hilfe für bestimmte Aufgaben zu suchen. Eine ausführliche deutsche Zusammenfassung findet ihr wie immer in unseren Shownotes. Und jetzt lasst uns ins Interview starten. Los geht's. Ganz viel Spaß. Okay.
Yeah. Before we dive into our questions and the interview today, let us make a short introduction. Pattern Rising is the first German language podcast for surface designers, which Theresa and I have been hosting since March 2026 to provide surface designers with transparent insights into the surface design business. But that aside, we would like to collaborate with experienced, established surface designers who have helped us along the way to ensure the best possible content for our audience. That's why we launched this interview.
And today we have our first guest. It's a wonderful and amazing surface pattern designer, Bärbel Dressler from Sweden. We are so excited to have you on our show today, and we think that our audience can truly benefit from your experience and extensive knowledge of the surface design industry, and of course, specifically regarding historical patterns, Bärbel, for those who don't know you yet, which is unlikely. Could you please introduce yourself briefly?
Hi, hello. Yes, of course. I'm so happy to be here and thank you for asking me to be your first guest. I am super honored. This is going to be so much fun. Yes, so my name is Bärbel Dressler.
Yeah.
But I am from Sweden, but my father is from Germany, hence the German name. But I was born and raised here in Sweden. So I am a surface pattern designer since 2014, and I live here in Stockholm, Sweden, with my family, my husband and 2 children. And so I design patterns for companies, and I also offer online courses and other educational resources to also share what I have learned along the way.
Yeah, great. Bärbel, so what I have learned about you is that you began your business career in marketing, and you don't have a design graduation before. So how did your journey begin into surface design?
I would say it's a result of little pieces from here and there coming together. And yes, you're right. I don't have a specific art or design degree. I've always been drawing since ever I can remember. And I've always felt that drawing was my superpower. And I even went to art school for a year after high school. Gymnasium. That's what we call high school here in Sweden, right?
Okay.
But I didn't want to become a fine artist or painter, which I thought was kind of the only option you had, either that or a fashion designer. So I didn't really go down that route right after school. So I went traveling a bit and I took history classes at university and stuff like that, but didn't really go into art. And it wasn't until I turned 40 that when I discovered pattern design, that this became a path or where all the things that I had done before in my life kind of came together, and I realized what I could do with my drawing superpower and other things that I had learned. So yes, I went into marketing. I worked for Toyota here in Sweden for 11 years and a couple of other companies before that and worked as a marketing coordinator and marketing project manager, just launching car after car after car. So yeah, that was what I thought I was doing before I discovered pattern design.
Okay, that's
Okay.
great. And what challenges did you face at the beginning of your career? How did you recognize the point where you thought about, so I want to change my business and want to go to the creative side?
Yeah, so as I said, it's something happened when I was about to turn 40. My parents and sister, they gave me this weekend workshop, in-person workshop in stand-up comedy.
Oh.
I don't know why. Maybe they thought I was, stuck up or something, or maybe they thought I was hilarious. I don't really know. But I was, scared like crazy. What? Stand-up comedy? We were to write our own piece and then stand up on a stage at the end of the workshop and perform. And I was so scared. And I really didn't want to do it. But I said, no, I'm going to do that. But then a friend of mine posted on Facebook that she had entered herself into another workshop about repeating patterns. And I thought, ooh, that sounds, both more safe and both more fun. So I managed to switch. And that weekend was the turning point. That's when I really discovered pattern design and that it was a profession. Someone was actually doing this as a profession. So then I just realized then and there, this is what I wanted to do. But that is when the challenge kind of came in, because I was in the middle of life with a family, small children, house, mortgages, all those things, right? So for me, I felt it was impossible to change careers and do what I felt that I was meant to do. It felt really impossible. So it took a long while before I kind of could convince myself that I could do it. And I actually just, after some, going back and forth, I just quit my marketing job and started my own business and just felt that, well, if I just start, everything, the rest will follow. So I'm just going to see what happens and give myself this chance. And my husband was a big support in all of this too. And so I just took a big, big chance on everything. I didn't have any education in pattern design, besides that workshop, and I didn't have any experience or extensive knowledge at that point. I would be without income for maybe a year or so. I don't know. And so, but I just took this risk and felt that if I didn't, I was gonna go under if I wasn't supposed to or able to pursue this dream that I knew that I had.
Yeah, that's great. So that you took the chance to make something what you have a passion for. Was the first course the course from Hannah Wendelbo or
No, it wasn't. It
no?
was by
Oh, okay.
another Swedish pattern designer and illustrator. Her name is Lotta Kulhorn. She
Oh, okay.
is she is designing book covers a lot, but also lots of patterns. She has 2 books also out there if you want to
Oh,
discover
yeah.
this amazing pattern designer. So it was an
Okay.
in-person workshop with her, and she was just showing us how to create repeating patterns with papers and scissors and just drawing by hand
Uh,
and piecing them together. That was
okay.
my first experience with creating patterns.
Yeah. Okay. So, but did you start it from the beginning with the historical pattern design, or was this development during your journey?
Yes, that's something that evolved quite fast, though, because
Okay.
my first year, I was kind of on my own. Well, maybe just the first months. I was on my own trying to figure out how to create digital patterns using Photoshop. So it's just learning the technicalities of it. And then I found a teacher, a mentor who could teach me how to create patterns in Illustrator. So I learned Illustrator. And once I started to master these foundations, the techniques behind it, I my passion and interest and nerdery about history came in pretty quickly because I've always been super interested in historical places and people and how people lived and their interiors and how people dressed. So I started seeing these old patterns everywhere as soon as I put on my pattern design glasses, right? So I found myself really interested in toile de jouy and Indian florals and just wanted to be able to create those patterns too. But there were no courses, no classes anywhere teaching this. So I set out to learn myself, and I saw that they were really complex and intricate, and it took a lot of time for me to kind of understand how to achieve what I wanted to achieve. So lots of research and of trial and error, figuring out how to, attach this and make it seamless, and how to layer things the way that I wanted. So it came from my lifelong interest for history, and that just, mixing that became the path that I started to take.
Yeah, it's great. Really great.
Great. Yes. And why do you think historical patterns are still relevant today?
Oh, just look around you. Well, they are historical and have survived and are still present in our lives today for a reason. I mean, I'm sure there are designs that have been lost in history too for other reasons, but I think that the beauty of and the soul that were implemented in these patterns since thousands of years, they're kind of resonating with something deep inside of us as human beings, because I think they come from these, built-in ways of thinking and patterns that we have as human beings. So I think there is some kind of universal factor to it. Um, just look at all these beautiful designs from ancient Greece and Rome and Egypt, and then the Renaissance. Every era has its own beauty and aesthetics and characteristics that I think just resonates with, something deep inside of us, because they truly have captured something that is timeless and that will survive for centuries. So I think it's just something that's built inside of us. And just looking at other things, designs and art, everything just comes in waves and revivals and comes back, and then maybe it rests for a while. And then, because as a society, we have these trends and we have these phases where some styles resonate right now, and then some are, on the back burner for a while, and then they come back. So I think it's just part of this circle as well, and when it comes to the aesthetics of our civilizations.
That's so true. Yes, it's like
Yeah.
that. And I have made the experience before I took your repertoire course. I had no idea about many historical pattern styles. I mostly created random patterns based on themes that were popular, or that I felt like doing. And since I really love drawing by hand, I think it's great that you have so many lessons on the subject in your repertoire course, and you actually demonstrate them. I think that's really your USP, a unique selling point. It's really awesome. And during the repertoire course, I discovered arts and crafts, and ever since then, I've been fascinated by that style and William Morris. And I've also been captivated by Toile de Jouy and Mille Fleurs, and I love designing them. So I'm starting to specialize more. Is that what you hope for the repertoire students, to find a direction where they want to do more of?
I think my mission with repertoire is to give pattern designers the tools and the techniques and methods, the foundations that they can then build on themselves and create something of their own with it. I don't I don't really advocate for, emulating and creating the exact historical styles.
Mm.
I think we have so much to learn from them and to be inspired by them, and just have them bring sparks of inspiration and ideas into our creative lives. I think that is what I'm aiming for. And you spoke about drawing and how that is a big part of repertoire, and I think that's also just a really great foundation to have to really build up that hand and brain and eye connection, because even if you then venture into just drawing digitally or doing things digitally, you still have that ability and that eye and that sense, that eighth sense maybe, just how patterns work and how aesthetics work just by having this hand and brain connection. So I don't think that repertoire is like yes, now you have to create patterns inspired by historical styles, or you have to create historical styles, or that you should. I think you should create your own patterns and develop your own style. And, it's inevitable that it will be impacted and influenced by, styles and patterns before us, because we're carrying this tradition that is thousands of years old as pattern designers. So we now get the torch and get to carry it forward and bring it forward. And if we can mix what we learn and what we've seen with our own experiences and lives and then create something new, it will become new offshoots that also become the future of pattern design. So I think that's more what I want with repertoire, for people to just have all they need to create any type of pattern that they want. That's my goal.
Oh, I think this is so lovely and important what you said, because
Yes.
when Teresa and I began, we made a course in Germany, but we only learned in Illustrator how we make patterns with the automatic pattern maker. I don't know how it is called in English, in
Yes.
Illustrator. But we didn't learn how we create the patterns from the ground. So I was really excited when I saw this in repertoire first, and I didn't knew that we can also do that like this. Yeah, I thought we have to make it with the automatic pattern maker inside Illustrator. Yeah,
Well,
so
that is a great tool for some patterns. And,
Yes.
you shouldn't do things just slow or manually just because of it. If it's suitable to use the pattern tool or any, maybe shortcuts, let's call it that, absolutely do that. But I think it's so important to have an understanding of how patterns work because it just makes you so much more skilled and versatile, and you are in control. You are in control of what you create, and it also sparks new ideas if you are able to go through the whole process. If you just let something else, this automation, do it for you, you're skipping a lot of steps that may be actually giving you something that you don't expect.
yeah, that is so. And I also loved it when I saw in repertoire that you first draw your
Yes.
patterns per hand, yeah, with pencil. And the first, when I started with pattern design, I only had my iPad and made it in Procreate, but I forgot the first step to draw this per hand, and I think this is a really very important point you have to manage before you start in pattern design. Yeah, so this is a really great point.
Yes and no. I think you can start with pattern design without any drawing skills. That's what's so fantastic with pattern design. You can create patterns in so many different ways. You don't have to draw by hand. You don't have to be good at drawing. You can do other types of patterns too. And that's something you get to choose. You get to choose what's your medium, what's your techniques. But I think it's good to be brave and at least give drawing by hand a try because you never know what will come out from it. So, and everyone can learn how to draw. You don't have to be able to draw realistically perfect or be able to, you know, draw in a certain way. If you are someone who draws stick figures, that's your capability, then that type of drawing can also become part of your style. Maybe that will be a unique style. So I don't think we should let, you know, a lack of drawing skills or being out of shape when it comes to drawing it should stop us because it's like a muscle. You can exercise it and build it up, and you can draw to as much as you want and in any way that you want. But yeah, I really also believe in the power of drawing by hand for sure.
Absolutely. And I love drawing, and I loved your drawing lessons and how you teach that in your course. That's very unique, and yes, I've never experienced that before when I've done other courses for surface pattern designers. And yes, I really love drawing analog with the pencil. So I really, really love how you do it and how you teach it. Yes,
Thank
because I
you. I'm
think
so
it
happy
it's
to hear that. I
you are
think it comes
welcome.
from this place where I always want to know how things work. Like I cannot just be satisfied someone telling me, "Oh, this is how it works," or "This is, the lay of the land. This is how things are done." I really need to go in behind and just all
Yes.
the zeros and ones and all the nitty gritty. I need to know. Okay, exactly how do you do this? So I think when I started creating my own classes, I wanted to do it that way because that's how I want to learn. I want someone to show me exactly first, and just step by step all the details, everything. And so, yeah, that became part of my teaching style.
Yeah, but this is great. So you learn to make it on your own way when you have learned the basic skills. So this
Yeah.
is really fantastic, I think. Yeah. So yeah. Um, What about historical patterns? When you look on them, what is the first thing you look at when you're analyzing a pattern? How did you start, or how do you start?
I think it usually starts with me trying to find the repeat.
Okay.
Just to see, okay,
Me too.
where are the
Now.
boundaries? Where does this actually begin and end? I think that's probably what every pattern designer will do. But yeah, that's where I start. But of course, it also starts before that. Just something just captures you. You see something, perhaps a wallpaper in a movie, or just something out there. And then you just have to move closer and see, okay, what is building this? What is this being built up with? So then I start looking at all the details and like the layering. Yeah, I'm pretty damaged when it comes to watching movies and or visiting museums or buildings. I just have to stop and stare for a half hour and just figure out how it's built. I think that's the pattern nerd in me. But when it comes to historical patterns, I don't know if it's something specific that captures me. I think it's just that universal beauty and the harmony, just being wowed by a pattern that's truly balanced and harmonious. And, then I really want to know what is making it so good.
Yeah, yeah. And did you often find that participants from the course suddenly perceive things differently through repertoire after that?
Yeah, I mean,
Or is it different? So some people like it and go in another way during their journey, and others are not as excited about historical patterns and analyzing them.
I think there are so many different situations, and every student's journey is unique. But I often hear things like, um, I've never been into history. I never liked history, and now I'm a history buff because they connected history with a context, with a topic that interests them. So that made them interested in history, and inevitably they have to learn about years and historical events too, because that's all part of it, right? So yeah, I think I convert a lot of people into liking history, but I also convert a lot of people into liking pattern styles they didn't think they liked. A classic is paisley. You've probably heard about that, right?
Yeah.
Every year we have students saying, "Oh, I am not really fond of paisley. I think I'm gonna skip it." And then other students jump in and say, "No, no, no, don't skip that because you're gonna be surprised." And then after a couple of weeks, you will hear them say, "Oh, I never knew paisley was this fun, and then you can do so much with it." So yeah, there are a few surprises that we see people experiencing every year, which I always wait for that a little bit and anticipate it. And so yeah, if I don't get that a year, I'm a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, but I can completely relate to that
Yes.
because since I have taken repertoire, I've started noticing patterns when I look series in Netflix, or when I walk through the city, or yeah. Bridgerton is a example. So I stopped the series in every minute, and I thought, oh, I have to look at this wallpaper. Oh, I have to look at this upholstery and something like that. So before I didn't recognize that when I looked TV. So this is
Yeah.
a great development after repertoire. And it is also interesting because I'm trained interior designer. After school, I started interior designer, and then I also learned wallpaper and upholstery. And also, I heard there before about damask and something like that, but I didn't recognize it really, so I had no interest in this age. So now it came back in repertoire, and I was really excited about that. So it is really funny. So how it developed now after so many years. Yeah.
I think everything starts with knowledge. I think so. When I found myself wanting to create these complex, intricate historical patterns, and I didn't know how to because they seemed so complex, I started actually with reading a lot about these styles and just collecting all the images and books I could about them, just learning about these styles first before I even started sketching or drawing or trying to create them. I just wanted to know, where did they come from? What methods did they use? And, how did it evolve from something else? And, all those things. So I think there is so much power in just having facts and knowledge and the stories behind things. That is really what's building expertise, and you get another understanding and a context about it. And then it really informs your brain and hand when you start drawing, because then you know why a little bit more. And I think that gives you more power into having knowledge. So now in your interior design side of business, then you are more powerful because this stripe is called this. It's, comes from this era or this type of floral. It just become more knowledgeable, and that builds expertise and confidence.
Yeah. I took really my old I don't know, how is it called in English. I made this during my uh, during my training in school, and then we had to learn about the different styles, and there it was also with the mask and something like that. And now I took it again, and I had a look for it when I started with creating patterns. So I didn't think about that I need this anymore in my life. So
What a resource you have there. That is amazing. I want to have a look in that book. It really looks like the fabric sample books that you can see in
yes,
museums now. Have you seen those?
yeah. Yeah, so I have it here at home
Yeah.
and made it by myself during my training as an interior designer.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a beautiful source. And I have to say the same as Dani. I think your course really sharpened my eye. I have to tell you a story. There's a restaurant nearby, and it's beautiful because they have this arts and crafts, huge arts and crafts, wallpaper, and also a furniture with acanthus leaves and in this style. But I've never realized it before I took your course. I go to the restaurant. They have also delicious food, of course. That's the reason I was there before. But now I always come back because of the beauty of it, not only because of the good food. And that's it's because of repertoire. You look at the same things, patterns, wallpaper and stuff with other eyes. And that's really I have to thank you. It's really amazing. Yeah, for
It just
me.
elevates the experience to know about these
Yes,
things and just connected with the story, for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have already talked about the importance of drawing skills for pattern designers, and I think, for you it's very important. For me, it's also very important, and I think it's important, to train your muscle memory and to draw by hand. Of course, there are a lot of surface pattern designers. Yeah, who say you don't have to be a good illustrator, or you don't need to have drawing skills. But in my opinion, it's really important to draw by hand also. And there's a reason you start every collection, right? Or every design, every pattern design with hand-drawn motifs, scenes and sketches and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of my method and process. But I also agree with those people who say that you don't have to be able to draw by hand or from, hand drawing. I really want to ensure people of that too, that just to not scare people away from pattern design, because you can create patterns in so many ways. Although,
Yes.
if you want to accomplish certain types of patterns, certain styles, then you may probably need to draw by hand or yeah, do that in one way or another. But there are styles out there that don't require hand drawing. I have students and I have peers who are creating patterns with block printing, carving their motifs
Hmm.
into blocks and then printing that and scanning that. And so there are so many mediums that you can use. You can do just teared piece of paper, collage stuff. You can scan, leaves, pressed flowers. So you can build patterns with many different types of media and items too. But for me, drawing by hand is just so satisfying, and it creates the
Yes.
expression and the style that I am very into, at least now, and have been for 10 years now. So, yeah, I think it's very rewarding. For me, it's a very rewarding process.
And
Yes. This is
your signature style, was it always the same? Did you always start with this historical, or did you also made something else before?
Well, signature style, your personal style is something that develops, after a while. So, of course, in the beginning, I created a lot of different types of patterns. Um, I, in the beginning, I really, when I was learning Illustrator, especially, it was a lot of drawing directly in Illustrator and just creating directly in Illustrator. But it didn't really create the effect, the visual, the aesthetics that I wanted. So when I started drawing by hand and scanning and vectorizing like that, then it started to emerge, the things that I wanted to see and that I wanted to create. And then it just started from there. And as I studied and taught myself from various historical styles, I realized that this really illustrative style and lots of hand drawn, imperfect lines, that was really what did it for me. So it became part of my style, and also, I guess, some colorways and new types of colors. But I have tried a lot of different things over the years, and I still do. Sometimes I also create patterns that are not created, straight from drawing, but they usually don't end up with as something I want to show, or that I feel I stand behind as much sometimes. And parts of patterns can be just directly done in Illustrator, but paired with hand drawn elements too. So that can also be an option.
Hmm. Yeah, because I find it really difficult to find your own signature style. So this is for me the biggest challenge since I've started. Because I don't want to make the same which others make. but I'm not sure how I can begin. So I learned from you we should draw a motif 5 times. So to experiment with the style and something like that. And we made from the beginning of the year a 100-day drawing project. Before I had really problems to open a sketchbook and start with a drawing. So this was my biggest problem. I sat before on my desk and thought about what should I draw, and it should not be ugly and something like that. So I never started. So this year I began with the 100-day project, and now I find it so impressive, and I had so much joy with it. So I want to make it now every day. And I think now I can see slowly how I recognize what I love during my drawings and what not, and which medium I want to use. But it is a really big challenge for me. So I think what can we tell our audience about the signature style? I think I have learned it is more marathon and not a sprint to make this to develop your own style. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like the marathon analogy, but it's also not completely correct because you
Okay.
run a marathon in a very, in a one set lane, one track. You run with everyone else in the same track. But finding your own style is as if you would run the marathon and then you would go off on this your own thing and then this path and
Okay,
you'll
yeah.
be running around like this. That's what I would,
Yeah,
compare it with. I think that, you're onto something with a 100-day project because inevitably, in order for you to develop your own style, because I don't like saying find your own style because that's not just something you look under a rock and there it is. It's,
yeah.
you have to develop it. So it really tells you that you go from step 1 to step 2 and every piece of thing or design or art or motif or pattern that you create is just a piece of the puzzle because every piece that you create gives you clues on things that you like, that you don't like, how you do this or how you don't do this or something. So it's just this trial and error thing that builds your neural paths in your brain. But it's also a path of discovery. So you have to explore many, many different things in order to give yourself a chance to understand what you like and what you don't like, and also to practice creating those things. So I think, yeah, a 100-day project is perfect because it forces you to just create a lot of work. And that
Mm.
is what you need to do that. I know it sounds discouraging sometimes. Oh, I have to create a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. Yeah, it's a craft. It's like pottery. It's like any other craft or profession where you need to learn it. Pattern design it's not an overnight thing at all in no aspect. It takes a long time to build up both your skills, your style, your business around it, success around it. It takes time. And sometimes you have luck and something just falls on your lap, or you have opportunities that come sooner rather than later, and that can happen. But yeah, as developing your own style is really that crazy marathon where you run off bounds a lot. And I think I wanted to actually force this process onto my student with repertoire because it's a meaty course. You know that. It's intense.
Mm.
It's a lot. It's 12 weeks long. We have 8 modules and it's a lot of patterns that you have to learn and study and practice doing, right? And, people can get overwhelmed, but it's there. It's a lot for a purpose because it takes you along this path. First, simple patterns, and then they grow in complexity. And your assignments are to create at least one of each, right? And this forces you to create a lot of work. And by the end of it, you have not only tried a lot of different styles and techniques and learned those and, started to see patterns in a different way and learn about the styles, you have also actually built experience. You have created these things on your own. You have the proof to show for it. And so you're another person at the end of the course. You are an evolved pattern designer for sure. So you have
Oh,
created
yeah.
a lot of work, and your style has either, been developed to an extent where you can actually identify it yourself, or you're really on a good path and close to it.
Yeah, I love it that you say that it need time. Yeah, because when Teresa and I started, we saw a lot of courses and marketing on Instagram and on other social media platforms. And everybody told you, or you can earn money overnight when you load up some patterns on a print-on-demand shop and something like that. So that was also the reason why Teresa and I started with this podcast, because we want to be honest to our audience that it is not a fast project, and that you start today with your business and tomorrow you earn a lot of money and you can quit your daytime job. So this is very important for us, that people understand that this is a really
Long way.
yeah.
Yes, but it's also everyone's journey is unique. I mean, just listen to this. Before I even started my business, I created my first pattern for a friend's company. And I did it for free because, didn't know how to invoice or anything. It was for a friend. So I created this pattern for free for his company, for his business. He needed a pattern for the soles of clogs that he produced. And just, a few weeks after I delivered this, little Photoshop file for him, it was in production. He sold tens of thousands of clogs with my patterns on them. And if I had had, €1 for each clog, would have had a substantial income before I even started my business. So I know that's unconventional, but you can also have quick success, but maybe not consistent, right?
Mhm.
It's just one thing, but at least that gets you some wind under your wings and gets you enthusiastic and started and makes you feel that this is possible. And I really think that those classes, those courses, when they market it in that way that, you can make money from this easily. And I think that they just want to infuse that enthusiasm because those teachers, they know how rewarding and fun this profession is. And when you get there, when you have built things up, it is, it is, it's not easy, and it takes time and it takes a lot of work, of course, to build something up that, creates something more substantial, steady. But I think people just want to make those teachers, they want to uh, build this enthusiasm and make people discover this world. So I think really we should see it that way and not as they are trying to trick us or anything. I think that's not the purpose for these teachers have.
Yeah, okay. So it's the enthusiasm everybody has for this business, but this is also, I think, the big point why people want to start with it, because they have this passion for drawing. And I think most people here, when they are a child and they love creating and start with creative things, that their parents say, oh no, you can't earn money with this, so you have to learn something where you can where you can pay your life, and this is only a hobby. So this is a good part, that people are outside, they started and can show it is possible to make an earning from a creative business.
Yeah, it's very concrete. It's very specific. And another thing I want to say about pattern design is that it's not really about, of course, it's being artistic and creating a type of art, but pattern design or patterns are super functional. It's there to enhance a product. It's there to sell a product for that company or that business that is your client that you're licensing or selling your pattern to, right? So it's really about selling their products. And I think if we have that mindset, it doesn't become so super personal and I'm pouring my heart into this design and now I'm afraid to show it or will people deny it. If you just create patterns and think, okay, how can I make this room look a lot better or have people be proud of the dress that they're wearing, and then also help this business, this company to have this great collection that their customers will love. It just takes the nerve out of it a little bit because we are agencies. Well, even if we're alone or doing this on our own, we're a type of an agency helping businesses.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point, Bärbel, I think. So let's go back a little bit to repertoire because we are interested in how did the idea for the course come about? And could you walk us through the timeline a bit? Because I think our audience would find it very, very interesting. Do you remember also how many participants you had in the beginning? And how did you figure out when you had enough reach to ensure that enough people um, will sign up to your course? Because that's a very difficult thing to figure out also for Danny and me when we could start to sell courses, because we have all this knowledge and all this technique stuff. And I think that's really good to know.
All right, let's get into the journey of becoming a teacher. Um, yeah, having an audience is absolutely crucial, or it helps a lot in the beginning. But let's start from the beginning. So as I've told you before, I did my own research and taught myself how to create these different types of historical patterns or the techniques that you need in order to achieve them. So I had this knowledge. I knew I had, developed my own techniques and methods for doing this. For example, toile de jouy, right? So I felt, well, I think other pattern designers would like to know how to create this or would love to, see how I do this. So at one point, I discovered Skillshare. I participated and took some classes there myself. I was approached by Skillshare after sharing some, student projects of my own. And I was approached by them and they asked me if I wanted to create a class for them. I was like, what? Me?
Great.
What can I share? What do I have to? But I did. It was a drawing class first, and then it soon became other classes, and eventually I created the toile de jouy course there. So and the first paycheck I got from Skillshare, I think it was $5. So it was a slow burn. Course after course, I built up, my pool of students, my audience there on Skillshare. And I think that was one of the best foundations for me to have someone else's platform to have this piggyback ride on. And then after a few years, um, I wanted to create something on my own. So I created Evolution, which is a membership. It's a monthly membership. And so every week I shared a new lesson or a tutorial, just kind of continuing on what I had been doing on Skillshare, but with other topics like millfleurs and, other historical styles and drawing tutorials and things like that. And I think the the first time I launched Evolution, I got something like 200 members off the bat, which was huge for me. It was a
Oh,
lot.
yes.
Yeah. And, I had started building my email list, and it came kind of from Skillshare and a little bit from, other places, I guess. But it was a slow buildup. And then after a couple of years, or maybe it was 1.5 years, with creating things for Evolution, I was like, whoa, I have so much content in the Evolution library. And I just looked at it. This is a course. And then I have the Skillshare classes. And then I have tutorials here and there at different places. So I had all these things spread across my own internet universe somewhere, right? In my corner there. Uh, but it was not really organized in any specific way. And I had people asking me, so what class or what do you think I should start with? And I started thinking about that more and more. Like, it would be so cool to have a course or something that just has everything in one place and it starts from the beginning, not chronologically like the first patterns in history, but more like the simple things. And then it would build in complexity and advancement. And okay, I was thinking, so I have all of these lessons spread out everywhere. It really should become a course. And most of it, of course, was in Evolution, the membership. So I decided, all right, I'm going to do a pivot here. I'm going to take the most of the lessons that I have in Evolution and combine that with some new and re-recording and updated lessons from what I had on Skillshare. And that's how Repertoire was born. It was this curation and development of everything that I had and just organizing in a way that would build in complexity. That's really how it started.
Oh, that's really interesting because I thought that repertoire was before evolution. Because
Me too. Yeah.
that's really cool. But
Yeah, if you look at my story, I never do things in the order that you should. Yeah, I got my first pattern success before I even started my business, and started when I was 40.
But it absolutely makes sense because with the membership, yes, and the Skillshare course, you have all this stuff, but you have, you had to bring it in order for a course. But with this huge amount of knowledge and lessons, absolutely makes sense. But we didn't know that, right, Danny?
No, not really. No, I thought also that
Yeah.
repertoire was the first course, and then you thought you should create a membership for the repertoire people. Yeah. So
Yeah,
this
no,
is
that's the order of things. And, Evolution was this open membership before where anyone could
oh,
join.
okay.
So it really was a course, just very, not organized.
Yeah,
But you
but
have, yeah,
yeah. No, sorry.
Danny?
No.
But you have been sure that there would be enough people to have a stable income when you launched Evolution from the questions you have or from the interest for your Skillshare classes, because I think that's a tricky point to figure out. Um, that not only let's say 5 people book your courses and you're saying, okay, that's
Yeah. No, you really you have to have a lot of traffic coming your way.
yeah.
No, where it comes from can be different. So I started with Skillshare. That was, great for me. I don't post or create courses for Skillshare any longer, but my courses are still there. Um, so that was a great start for me. But then I also collaborated with some other people that had large audiences. I started building an email list, and I think also now in the later years here, or the last maybe 3-4 years, advertising is also very important. Advertising costs money, so you need to have a capital, like an amount of money in order to actually do that. But an ad, let's say an ad costs, or like one lead that you get from an ad costs €1. Let's just say it's €1. And then the course you sell with that ad will bring in €100. You would pay that euro anytime, any day of the week, right? So it can be a bit of a risk or an investment up front, but it will return to you in a different way. So ads is not something to be scared of. Of course, it's always scary to make an investment like that, but it will be a return too.
So you would highly recommend advertising, paid advertising. That's a very good advice, because I think a lot of designer think, oh no, I will do it without paid advertising, and I have to find my audience and get reached that way without paying. But that's really, really important, right, Dani? Good to
Yeah,
know.
But I think we don't have as many followers at the moment. So on Instagram there are not many people, and I think the most of them are also surface designers. So that makes no sense to launch a course for these people. So that's very interesting with the ads. And your newsletter, did you start with the newsletter after Skillshare, or did you or you began with it during you made your courses in Skillshare?
So the newsletter started, of course, with having a mail list. And maybe it was a couple of thousand in the beginning. I don't remember exactly when I started the newsletter. And it has seen a lot of shapes and forms. It's been in a lot of shapes and forms before it became what it is now. Um, um, I don't know. Well, this form of the newsletter called History Repeating, it started I started that in February last year, but I had another type version of this a couple of years before that. So, yeah, and I think building and having an email list is also a foundational thing that you need for selling a course as well. It's it's your it's your big your big platform.
Yeah, we have heard so often about that, but I'm also scary to start because I don't know how many people will sign in, or or how I reach the people who want to read my newsletter. That's the big question, I think.
Yeah. I think everything should start with your passion for sharing what you know, what you have
Mm,
learned, and just wanting to help other people. It just starts there without making an income. Just don't think about that in the beginning. So how can I
mm,
help other people? How can I share what I know and am passionate about with other people, and I know it's going to be helpful for them? That's the thought that I got when I was approached by Skillshare, remember? So what would other people like to know? How can I help them? What can I be helpful with? What can I contribute with in this world? And just think about that. Like, is there a method, a technique, or just a little trick or something? And if you start sharing that, it will become rings on the water. It will be small in the beginning, but you can also start out with, a platform that already has a huge or big audience. For example, Skillshare, or there are other places too. I really have loved Skillshare to work with them. They're great. They're still bringing me income from those really old classes. Um, So that is one great way to start as well, to be on platforms that are already established. You can start small. It can be just a little class. Just test the waters a little bit, see what it looks like, what will happen, how is your topic, what you're teaching being received, are people actually, needing that? And another way to think about it is, so what problem do many pattern designers encounter? What are their struggles, especially in the beginning, right?
Mm.
What's a mystery for them, and how can you unveil and unpack that mystery for them and help them? That's also a great way to start.
Oh, yeah. They're really great advices.
Yeah,
So,
we should start with the newsletter and with Skillshare. That's really, really good advice. Thank you so much.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we are almost at the end. Sad about that.
I we could go on
But
forever.
yeah,
Yeah, me
it's
too.
so fun. And yeah, we can benefit a lot in our audience from your knowledge and your thoughts. Yeah. So we have closing thoughts, and what would be the best advice you've received for running your own business? And what advice would you give to new surface pattern designers starting their careers?
So, building or starting your own business, I think it's very important to remember that pattern design is just a part of it. Like I said, pattern design is really about helping businesses, companies to sell their products, uh, making customers out there, thriving in their environments and proud in their clothes. That's really what you're about. So remember that pattern design is just one part of it, and it's very functional. And then you also have to wear a lot of other hats. So you be sure that that you're prepared for this. You're going to have to be the marketing person, the salesperson, the graphic designer. You're going to be the one building your website. You're going to be, you're going to be everything. So just be prepared that if you want to be a pattern designer, you have to be all of those things. And don't be afraid of it. And you can learn all of it. And if you are willing to learn and take on all of these challenges that it actually means, you're going to have a leg up and be ahead of other people that are not prepared for this, or that are not, bold enough to actually start trying ads or doing marketing things and reaching out to companies and being the salesperson for yourself. You have to just be courageous and do it, and just see it as a challenge and a way to stretch yourself and grow as a person. But yeah, be prepared that if you want to be a pattern designer, you have to make sure that you create some kind of income from it. And it's very rational and practical in the way that you do that. And
Yeah.
what were the other questions? What was the other one?
Um, what was the best advice you have received for running your own business?
Ooh, I thought about this. I don't know if I remember like a best advice. Well, I think that's actually what I just said. If
Yeah,
you are
that's good.
willing to do the difficult things that other people are not really willing to do, then you're going to be one of the successful few. I think
Yeah.
that. So if something seems challenging and difficult to you, see it as a sign that, ooh, this is my leg up. This is where I can be at an advantage. If I do this, I'm going to be set apart from the other ones that are not. So that's a key to success. When something feels scary, challenging, that's your cue.
You have to do
Full
it.
force
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. That's really
That's
good.
great, yeah.
Looking back, what would you do differently today, perhaps? Or is there something you would say, oh, I would do it in another way today with the knowledge I have
Mm.
from the years?
I always say no
Difficult, right?
regrets.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, but I also think one of the biggest challenges I have right now is still wearing too many of those hats myself.
Mm.
So I think early on, see if you can bring in other people to help you with some of the tasks that you discover, oh, I can do it, but I don't really enjoy it, or I'm not that good at it. If you can be able to bring in help and have people help you do some things, then do that as soon as you possibly can. My big challenge is being a leader or, the boss of my business. I just want to be friends with everyone and just have fun. And,
Yeah.
so I think that's difficult for me. And also to, you know, give away tasks for other people because, either I like doing it myself or I feel that, well, I want it to be in a certain way. But, other people have skills in those areas that are, better than mine. So I need to just embrace that and build my team and, have more people come in and help me.
Yeah, that's really important. And it's
Mhm.
really valuable advice for our audience, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of
Mm.
course. Yeah.
But I know it's
Yeah.
difficult in the beginning or in the middle or somewhere. I mean, still have to pay people to hire them to do things for you. So, of course, there is a beginning and something you need to achieve first in order to be able to actually hire someone. So, of course, it takes a while before you can do it, but we can do it sooner than we think. That's the thing. Become so careful, or I did at least, and I'm super financially careful.
Yeah,
I
but
am
I
big spend.
think we can do that because we also spend money for the courses to get the skills to build a business. So we recommend also our audience to take courses
Yeah.
to develop your skills, and so I think for hiring this should also be necessary. Yeah.
Yeah, eventually you will come to a point where you will be able to have help and then start. Don't be afraid to do that. I wish I had started that sooner. And yeah, to have more people helping me.
Yeah, I think we don't want to get into a burnout because we should take
Yes.
all hats on
No.
ourselves. Yeah.
Okay.
No, and what the reason why we start a pattern design business is because we want to spend as much time as we can on pattern design, right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
think
that's
we should really try to keep that focus and make sure that we have carve out that time for ourselves
yeah.
and not skip it.
Yes. That's important. But it's annoying because there are days you have no time for designing, for doing new pattern designs. And then, yeah, Danny also knows it's frustrating. Sometimes you have to do all this marketing and financial stuff. And yeah, then you have not a lot of time because we love creating, we are creators, we love designing, and I would like to spend the whole day with drawing and designing, but that's not reality. It's not possible, and yeah.
But I think also it's very important to set up the boundaries for ourselves, or else it's so easy to let those areas of the business take over. I have
Mm.
definitely experienced that a lot. So I think we just need to say, no, I'm going to have the whole Friday or 3 afternoons or two, before noons, mornings every week that is dedicated to pattern design. No, non-negotiable. I think those are important boundaries and maybe they seem impossible, but we are so adaptable. We can adapt to the circumstances so easily. So if we are, being our own bosses and say, no, Bärbel, you cannot procrastinate or do this or that. You're hired here to do pattern design. So you have to spend your 3 afternoons on pattern design or else you'll be fired.
That's really good.
That's good, yeah.
Sometimes you have to be your own boss and almost, a little bit schizophrenic, talk to yourself like that. I do all the time.
That's great, yeah.
I
Shall we
like
do
it.
that? We should do that too.
Yeah, I will. So otherwise you will be fired. You have to spend time on
Oh,
designing now. Yeah.
that's not very on character for me. I would never fire like that. That sounds
No,
horrible.
we know.
Yeah, great. So, yeah, I think we are at the end from our episode. Thank you, Bärbel. This was
Yeah.
so great, our conversation. But I want to introduce, we have talked in our previous episode also about repertoire and which course we recommend. Of course, repertoire is very important for us. So, where can our listeners learn more about you and your work? Because our episode will launch in August. When our audience hear this, I think on July or August. So I remember you have a workshop for free before people join repertoire, so they can have a look on your course and to decide if a repertoire could be a course they want to join.
Yep. So I have this annual workshop. It's a free workshop. It's 4 lessons, and then in between each lesson we have a live session too. So it's a really fun event that goes on for about a week. And this year it will start with the first lesson on September 9th. And the last lesson or session will be released on September 15th. And September 15th is also when enrollment to the repertoire course opens. And the enrollment will be open from the 15th of September to the 22nd this year. So if you are interested in learning a bit about repertoire already now, and also where you eventually go to enroll, is on historyrepeating.se/repertoire. So, yeah,
Yeah, that's
you
good.
can
We
find
will
out some
also,
information
yeah,
there already.
thank you so much for your time. We will also have all the informations in our show notes, and we will announce the date of when the episode launches with you, the interview, because we think a lot of people are very interested in that episode of our podcast. Okay, thank you so much, Bärbel. See you.
Thank
will.
you.
Vielen Dank.
Bye, bye. Das war unser Gespräch mit Bärbel Dressler, der erste Gast unserer neuen Interviewreihe. Und was für ein Auftakt. Ein Satz bleibt uns besonders im Kopf. Lernen ist ein lebenslanger Prozess. Egal wie weit man im Pattern Design schon ist, es gibt immer eine neue Technik, eine neue Inspirationsquelle, einen neuen Bereich, in dem man wachsen kann. Wenn ihr noch tiefer in Bärbels Arbeit eintauchen wollt, ihre historischen Pattern Designs und ihren Kurs findet ihr unter historyrepeating.se und auf Instagram folgt ihr unter Bärbel Productions. Links dazu wie immer in den Shownotes, inklusive einer deutschen Zusammenfassung der wichtigsten Punkte für alle, die heute lieber mitlesen wollten. Außerdem hat Bärbel einen kostenlosen Workshop für euch, The 3 Keys to Mastering Surface Pattern Design Workshop. Wenn ihr Interesse habt, findet ihr den Anmeldelink ebenfalls in den Shownotes. Und bleibt dran! In den nächsten Folgen unserer Interviewreihe erwarten euch noch viele weitere spannende Stimmen aus der internationalen Pattern Design Welt. Bis zum nächsten Mal bei Pattern Rising.